This coming weekend, the Thieves will be taking on the Minor 2 tournament. And because of this, I wanted to take some time and talk about the bracket as well as break down how I think the Thieves are going to do this weekend. To start things off, the Thieves get a bye because of how they placed at the Major 1 qualifiers. As we can see from the bracket, Atlanta FaZe are the number 1 seed, the Thieves are the number 2 seed, the Ravens are the 3 seed, and Ultra are the 4 seed, with all 4 of those teams getting a bye to start off their tournament. Once again, for anybody who may not remember, the minor tournaments are single elimination, so the Thieves are going to end up playing up against either Minnesota Rokkr or Cloud9 New York, and whoever loses that series will be going home. Thieves are also starting on the lower side of the bracket, which I think, based on the teams in each side of the bracket, the Thieves have a better opportunity to reach the championship with who they may have to run into. Minnesota Rokkr and Cloud9 New York are both really good teams, but from what we've seen, I don't think that either of them are on the same level as the Thieves. With this tournament still being online, it's always hard to tell, but I feel like the way the Thieves have been playing so far throughout the Major 2 qualifiers, that hardpoint wise especially, the Thieves are looking really, really solid. And then their search and destroy seems like it's kind of making progress from what we've seen. We haven't had a big sample size yet, unfortunately, but we did just get to watch them play against Toronto Ultra, who is also a really good team, and the Thieves ended up beating them 3-0 with a convincing search and destroy win as well. So it makes me think that either one of these teams that the Thieves could end up facing are probably not going to be at the same level of the Thieves. On top of that, when we look at below them, the Ravens will take on either the Heretics or Gentlemates, and I don't feel like anybody from there is good enough to beat the Thieves either. I think the best bet would probably be either Miami or Carolina, and I just don't see either of them being better than the Thieves either, because we've seen the Thieves play both Heretics and the Ravens several times, and the Thieves beat them pretty handedly every time. So I feel like the bracket that the Thieves have is a lot more favorable for them than, say, the bracket that FaZe or Optic or Toronto have, because those 3 teams I would say are top, top 4, top 5 typically. Obviously right now Optic hasn't been playing great, so there's a chance that Optic doesn't get very far in this tournament either. Toronto has looked a little bit slower than what they have in the past, so there's a chance that they might not do too well either. The other thing is Vancouver Surge has actually looked really good with their new addition, Neptune. So that side of the bracket just feels very like top heavy. It feels a lot more loaded than the Thieves side of the bracket. But as I said, Cloud9 has started to look pretty good. Minnesota has been solid so far this year. And then same with Carolina and the Heretics. The only one I would say on the bottom side of the bracket that straight up is just not very good is Gorilla Mates. And I don't see them getting past the Heretics, to be completely honest. So for me, I feel like the Thieves have a pretty solid opportunity to get to the championship. With it being a one and done, that's kind of the biggest concern, is just that anything can happen, and if the Thieves end up struggling in a map or in a mode or whatever it is, they could be kicked out of the tournament early, despite how good of a talent that team is. So that's something to keep in mind, something to be a little concerned about. Honestly, I don't really see that being a problem. The Thieves have looked much better so far on this split for the Major 2 qualifiers, and we're only halfway through. Thieves haven't had a bunch of competition so far, but I mean, everybody that they've played, they've won at the very least 3-1. So the Thieves look confident, and I think they're kind of starting to find their rhythm. We've even seen Scrappy has come out and said that he believes their map pool is actually pretty solid and that they're comfortable on every map that they play, even if it doesn't necessarily show in some of their matches. So I'm really excited to see if we get to see a bigger map pool as well going into this minor tournament, or if the Thieves are going to kind of just stick to what they're good at. We've seen them play a lot of red card S&D. That's probably their favorite as of right now, which I don't really blame them. It's probably the most straight up S&D map. So for me as a fan, it's more enjoying to watch them play that than it is to watch them play like a Vault Search and Destroy or even a Protocol Search and Destroy. I'm sure with how everything is going to play out. We're going to get to see more maps out of them just as the tournament goes on. And the championship is a best of 7. So if we see the Thieves make it to the championship, which I think they will, against my guess is probably Atlanta, I could very well see a pretty good map pool out of the Thieves, and ideally we can get our get back in this minor tournament before going into the Major 2 tournament as well. With all that being said, I will be watching the Minor 2 tournament, hoping that the Thieves can make it to the championship and ideally play FaZe once again, and maybe we can take the win this time. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that like and subscribe button, and maybe even think about becoming a member. There's several perks that come along with being a member of the channel. Members get a channel specific icon that goes next to your name, as well as some channel specific emojis to use in chat for like the watch parties that we do. On top of that, you get early access to all the videos I post. If all that sounds interesting to you, I have a link in the description so you can check it out and decide for yourself. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you all in the watch parties this coming weekend.